Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. I have been solving math problems, and I can say that I have been solving because this is number 2 I'm going to do. So I have been solving math problems out of this book right here that I'm holding, GMAT Review, the 12th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You need it. One needs it in order to prepare for the exam. You have to have the book in front of you so that you can follow my work. Problem number 2, data sufficiency problem. Data sufficiency number 2 is what I'm going to solve. The tag that you want to use if you're looking for any particular question is GMAT-12E, as I showed you a little while ago, for the 12th edition of the book. Then the page number, page 273, and data sufficiency number 2. Let's take a look at it. Number 2. Question is, what percentage of the group of are women with red hair? What percentage? I get too lazy and then it doesn't work. What percentage of people are women with red hair? That's the question. And notice what we're looking for here. What percentage of a group of people, what percentage of the people are women with red hair? Well, it's a data sufficiency question, and as soon as I see a data sufficiency question during the exam, the real exam, as soon as data sufficiency problem pops up on the screen, the very first thing I do is write down this thing, A, D, B, C, E. Those are the two possibilities. If the statement number 1 works, if the statement number first statement, we'll take a look at it, if it works, you can immediately cross out B, C, and E. For example, if you think that statement 1 works, then what does that tell me? What that tells me that B is not a possibility, because what does answer choice B mean? B means second statement by itself is sufficient. Well, if 1 works, and even if second one did work, in that case, the proper combination would be either of them works. So it rules out B, because B means only the second statement by itself works. If first statement works, you can rule out answer choice B, because answer choice B, as I said just now, answer choice B means only the second statement by itself works. It's very important that you understand what these answer choices mean. You can also cross out C, because C would have meant that you need both of the statements together. That's what C means, both. And this is a mnemonic I use. The word is, I do not know why I write these words, because most of you probably already know it. Mnemonic, it has a silent M at the beginning. Mnemonic is a memory device. It's something that you make up to remember something. The mnemonic that I use is this. 1, 2, Ben is what I call it. 1, 2, Ben. So what does C stand for? One means, A means statement 1 by itself is sufficient. B means second statement by itself. Only second statement by itself is sufficient. It's important that you say only. C means you need both of them. Hence the B for Ben. 1, 2, Ben. You see, 1, 2, Ben. And D means either of them. Oh, right here. I forgot. Right here. C means you need both of them. D means either of them would do the job by itself. And E means neither of them are enough. So if the first statement is enough, you know that C is not a possible answer, because C means you need both of them. Well, you don't need both of them because you just told me that 1 is enough by itself. You also rule out E, because E tells me that neither of them is enough. Well, you just told me that A works, so E rules out E. So that's what I do. Have a system. You must go systematically. So let me put down my A, D, B, C, E. A, D, B, C, E. Make it your mantra. Make sure you memorize it and make it, again, if you don't know what mantra means, look it up. Sometimes I feel like the words are too simple and I try to explain them, but then again, I do not know your background, because if I'm sitting face to face with a client, it's very easy to gauge their vocabulary, their mathematical skill, very easy for any teacher. But since I do not know what your background is, I don't know what part of the world you're watching this thing and how good of a command you have of the English language. So just to be on the safe side, I put down even the simple thing. Anyway, For those of you who, if you're watching in India, of course you know what mantra means because it's a Hindi word. It comes from Hindi. Anyway, let's look at what the first statement actually says here. I digress too much. I'm going to move this in so that I have room. Women with red hair. Women with red hair. That's the question. What percentage of the people are women with red hair? A, D, B, C, E. You see? A, D, B, C, E. The first statement tells me, of the women in the group, 5% have red hair. So that tells me 5% of women have red hair. Now people in their haste might think that they're giving you the answer because they might end up thinking they're asking you what percentage of the women have red hair, and they tell you 5% of them have red hair. Stop and think, it cannot be that simple. Because the question is not here what percentage of the women have red hair, the question here is what percentage of people have red hair. I do not know in this group that they're talking about, group of people, I do not know the composition of how many female and how many male are there. Until I know that, if you tell me how many male are there and how many female are there, and then you tell me that 5% of the female have red hair, I can tell you, we can answer this question, what percentage of the people have red hair. For example, if you tell me that there are 200 men and 100 women and 200 men, and we know 5% of them have red hair, so we know 5 of them have red hair, that's easy. So what percentage of the group of people have red hair? 5 out of 300, very simple, very straightforward. But we do not know anything at all. We do not know how many men are there, we don't know how many women are there. So statement 1 by itself does not do anything. The statement 1 by itself is no good. So that tells me that the answer cannot be A or D. Cross it out right away, that's the whole point of it. Cross it out, A or D. Let's go on. Answer has to be either B, C or E. Second statement tells me, of the men in the group, 10% of them have red hair. 10% of men have red hair. Now this is an absolutely worthless statement because we are not interested in what percentage of the men have red hair. We just needed to know how many men are there and how many female are there so that we can figure out what percentage of the group of people have red hair if we were to put them together. This statement by itself does nothing, first of all. 10% of the men have red hair, oh, so great, I'm very touched. But it doesn't tell me what percentage of the people as a whole have red hair because I need to know the absolute, we need to know the number. We have no way of knowing how many men are there, how many female are there. We cannot assume that they are the same number of people. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out, even if we were to assume that, would that help? Yeah, even if we were to assume that, it wouldn't help. Because if we were to assume that there are 100 and 100, 5% of the, so this is women, this is men, first statement tells me 5 of them have red hair, so it's 15 out of 200. Yes, if we were to assume that, then we can figure it out, but we can't assume that. We cannot assume that the composition of the male and female is equal. So maybe there are 900 men and 100 women. Or maybe there are 900 female and 100 men. Who knows? We do not know. So the second statement by itself is not enough, which tells me that the answer is not B. If we put them together, still it does not do anything. As I keep repeating, we need to know how many men there are, we need to know how many female there are before we can, and if we knew how many men there are and how many female there are, then statement number 1 by itself would have been enough to answer this question because we can figure out, as I did before, let's do it one more time. If I tell you, for example, that there are 100 women, and if I tell you that there are 200 men, then this tells me that 5% of them have red hair, so 5 of them have red hair, out of a total of 100 and 200, 300. 5 out of 300, and we can answer the question, but it's useless. Even putting them together does not do anything. The answer is neither. The answer is E. Perhaps this was too much explanation, so I don't know sometime. Perhaps I get carried away. Anyway, I hope you found it helpful. If you wish to get hold of me for personal private tutoring, I do face-to-face tutoring, I do tutoring over the telephone, I also tutor over the internet through Skype. If there is anything at all that I can help you with any aspect of the GRE, I do the entire exam, go to my website at www.for4gmat.com and send me an email. Or you can go to www.keshwaniprep.com and send me an email. And we'll set you up for tutoring It doesn't matter where you are on the planet. We can do it over the internet very easily through the Skype. It works, trust me. Okay, thank you.